Hello, and thank you for clicking on my channel. I really appreciate this. Cali Legends Media. I'd like to thank all the subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, I want to ask you to please hit that subscribe button, that like button, and notification bell, so you'll be notified whenever a new video comes out. Today's video is going to be about a comment that one of my subscribers made in the comment section on another video. He was saying that he had been to a lot of different holes in the system, both in the state and in the county system. And he mentioned that the hole in Supermax was probably the most uncomfortable, ugly place to be to do hole time. I mentioned in my video that the cell is completely cement. The bed, everything, the stool, everything is made of cement. And it doesn't have bars or windows or anything. It's completely closed off, and it has a middle door. And the middle door has a smaller door where the officer could open it up at count time, look in, and see that you're awake, that you have to stand up, and give them the numbers on your wristband. Other than that, they close it back up and they leave you in there, and they keep the light dim for whatever their reasoning is. I don't know. But they keep the light dim in the cell. So really the only light you get is the dim light plus whatever light comes in through the door. And when my subscriber mentioned that part, I remember that distinctly, because whenever I'd want to read, I'd have to get near where that light was beaming in through the door so I could see the page well. That's why my eyes went bad a lot, was a lot of the reading I did was under poor lighting in the different places that I had been at, especially when I do it at night. In any case, this was the most uncomfortable place per se because of the condition of the cell, being that it was all cement, it was dank and cold, right? But that wasn't my worst experience. My worst experience in a hole was inside Max East. Okay, the cells were small, but they had two-man cells. Okay. And I had been there a couple of times, and a couple of times it was cool. One of the times I had a homeboy that used to come and feed us. So of course, when he'd come, he'd shoot me, slide me different little things, things that I needed while I was in there, like, toothbrush, comb, whatever I didn't have that they didn't give us in there. And other little goodies, that he'd come across, he'd come and shoot them to me when the officer wasn't looking, But anyways, this one particular time that I want to talk about is when they brought this inmate in. He was a very tall individual. I'm talking about like a basketball player tall. That guy was huge, okay? And he came in, and when he came in, I noticed a certain odor, a stench, that he carried with him, right? Now, I know that like in the LA County Jail, usually what happens, if you have any type of mental or psychological problems, they separate you and they put you in a dorm or a module with nothing but people with mental illnesses, right? A lot of times people without mental illnesses that want to play the system, they'll go in there just so they could have access to some of the drugs that they give to those people to calm them down or to help them stop hallucinating. They seem to have another effect on people who don't have mental issues that give them some type of euphoria. In any case, they separate them for the most part, especially the ones that are really bad. They're known as, they refer to them as J-Cats in jail. Anyways, they also have it in the state, the EOP facilities are for people who pretty much are not completely mentally healthy, okay? The individual they brought into my cell, he had some issues. Like, I noticed it right away, the way he conversed with me, the way he would act, just like getting up and pacing and hanging on the bars and like talking like low, real quiet, where probably only he could hear himself. He'd do weird things. But the worst part about it is when he'd get up and walk back and forth, was that odor that followed him. And by the second day, I couldn't take it. I mentioned it to him, and I asked him. I go, hey, I'm in a bird bath, and after, I'll clean my mess and everything, and then, if you want, you could bird bath after me, and I'll put a sheet up and stuff. That way you could go in there and do your thing. And he tells me, he goes, no, I'm good. And I told him, look, no offense, man, but you got this odor on you. It's very offensive, and we got to live in here together. So I'd appreciate it. I'm asking you to please, take advantage of this bird bath situation here. In any case, he didn't bird bath, and I was hot, because I'd have to eat and smell this guy and try to sleep. It was bad, really, really bad. It was like smelling butt and underarms and onions all together. Man, it was bad. It was really bad. It even had me gag a couple of times and go to the toilet. It made me sick, man. So bad it was. So I said, you know what? I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna wait till shower day, and he has to he's got to get in the shower, and from there, then I'm gonna have to try something else, Anyway, shower day came. This was the first shower day that I was there, so I didn't know how the shower was gonna be, and I found out that what it was like a metal bars in a square out in the hallway where you go into, and they had a water hose hanging from the top, pointing down, tied up with a sheet to the bars, and they turned the water on, and that was your shower. And they only gave you, they said 3 minutes, I think it was more like 5, but I remember them, it felt like 3 minutes. It was, they told us what it was, 3 or 5 minutes. It was fast. You just barely had enough time to get in there and soap up, get as much of the soap off, because what they do is they shut the water off when your time was up. And that was it. If you had soap on you, you just had to wipe it off and finish up inside your cell, or handle it however an individual wanted to handle it. Well, this guy that was in my cell, he didn't want to handle it at all. He refused to get in the shower. I told him, look, man, you got to get in there, man. You smell bad. And I'm not going to let you back in the cell, because he got out and he was walking around the freeway and he was going and talking to other people. And I told him, I'm not going to let you back in the cell, man, if you don't get in the water. And they told him, look, man, your time's starting. I go, dude, get in there, man, and put some soap on yourself. You stink. You ain't coming back in the cell like that. And some of the other inmates start yelling, hey, man, you can't make him take a shower. You know who you think you are, this and that. And I told the individual himself, I says, look, man, I ain't talking to nobody but you. I'm telling you, you're not going back in my cell if you don't shower, man. You smell bad. I can't be in there with you no more. He didn't shower. So I didn't let him back in. We ended up, or I ended up having to put my point across another way to him out on the tier, when it was time to go back in the cell. I told him, no, you can't come in, man. Go find yourself another cell to live in, and the deputy was yelling at him to get back in his cell, and when he tried to push his way in, that's when everything started, Long story short, he didn't go back in the cell, and they put me back in the cell. And obviously, I had to stay there a little longer because of this incident. I didn't care. I was just happy the guy was gone. I think he needed to be in one of those places for those people that have mental illnesses and stuff. Sometimes they get by, And that's why you hear sometimes stories on YouTube about J-Cats, guys that do things that aren't normal, that are way out. And this was just one occasion, and it happened to be in the hole. And it's not a big a very big cell, you know, and it made my time very, very hard. The days that I try to put up with this guy, you know, and I didn't want to be, you know, gacho with him or nothing, but I couldn't take it no more, you know, and it just, if he would have been Raza, I would have been different. I would have got at him differently. But being that he was another race, you know, I try to, you know, finesse it, you know, more than like throw my weight around or anything, you know. Yeah, but he just wasn't. He was saying that his skin was gonna flake and his hair was gonna flake. He already had a bunch of lint balls all in his hair and everything. You know, he was dirty. He was really dirty, really bad. But that was my worst experience in the whole. And I've had bad experiences in the whole for other reasons. You know, for people with bad charges and stuff. But this one was. Yeah, it was a trip. That was that actually was my first experience like that. I never went through something like that before. Anyways, this is my video. And I know a lot of people are going to say like, oh yeah, that's nothing compared to doing a shoe here, shoe there. Shoe's different. A shoe program is different than going to the hole. When you do a shoe program, usually it's a month, 6 months, a year, whatever shoe program you get, it's for an extended amount of time. And up in Pelican Bay, it was indeterminate. It was like you didn't have a date that you were going to get released, especially if it was for a validation. If you were a validated gang member, you were stuck up in there unless you debriefed, which you had to go and tell on your people and go out backwards, you know. And besides the fact Pelican Bay had so much solitary confinement, you know, it took, for such long periods of time, that was the struggle about that place. It wasn't because the cells were ugly or nothing. The problem was the solitary confinement and the indeterminate time that they were in there for. Some guys were in there for 30 years. Can you imagine being 30 years stuck in your bedroom, you know? It takes a toll on the mind, you know? It's not like going to the hole and getting out in a month, 2 months, whatever time they give you, you know? In any case, that was just my opinion of something that I had an experience with, and it came to mind when I read one of my comments. That being said, please leave a comment. I really enjoy hearing what you guys have to say and speaking with you guys, man. Chime in. If I don't answer, one of the other Cali Legends media members will answer. It's usually very, very good conversation, very respectful, man. I really, really enjoy that. Anyways, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to ask that you please subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't. And I hope to see you on the next video. And of course, I like to end all my videos with some type of lesson. And the lesson's very, very, very simple. Don't go to jail. You know, don't get in trouble. Don't get caught up. Too much good out here. We got things going on out here, man. It's off the chain out here. In there, it's just nothing but nonsense. Even the best conditions in there, they're crap compared to being out here. You know what I mean? And, you know, the nasty spreads and all that. That's all. There ain't nothing good about no spread. You know what I mean? We could go eat anything we want out here. Some steak and lobster, you know, anything. And we have gyms here to work out on, you know, free weights and everything, you know. Forget all them bars. That ain't nothing. We have tracks we could run out here. Everything that's in there, we got out here, plus our freedom, you know, and that's the main thing. Hang on to that like it's something meaningful in your life. And remember, you lose your freedom, the ones you love suffer. Wives, children, and parents, the ones that love you, they're the one that's gonna take the blunt of the blow. You know, because you know we do what we do, and when we get in trouble, hey, you know we know why we're going through what we're going through. But sometimes they don't understand. They don't understand why we do the things we do. So we need to think about that for them. Anyways, God bless you all. Hope to see you in the next video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you very much.